Thoughts, Saunders, question mark? Saunders just came onto our chat and just said, what the hell was that twist, eh?
Yeah. Not what the fuck was that twist?
Oh, that plays right into your intro. Welcome to the fourth episode of VSTML 2012 Recaps from Reality TV Warriors. My name is Michael Harmstone, and joining me as always is the Canadian who, by a 2-1 vote, we've agreed to cancel after his Irish accent a few weeks ago, Logan Saunders.
Good afternoon.
And the guy who podcasts under a sign of his own personal motto, oh sure, that's just great, David Bindley.
Good morning.
Good morning. Have you had a good week?
Yes. It has been 24 hours and I spent most of it making my notes for this episode.
Yeah, I was going to say, given that you spoiled last episode that we are recording these on back-to-back days, I just thought I'd ask you if you had a good week.
It was okay.
What did you get up to, Saunders?
Trying to wrap my head around whatever twist I just watched on Vidum.
Did you have any relations with any ostriches this week, or was that just a solely last week thing?
No, it's still apparently Dr. Oz and RFK both have made comments about the ostrich calling. It's international news.
Oh, great.
Yeah, Dr. Oz said he would take the ostriches onto his farm. I'm not kidding. That's what he said publicly, I guess, recently.
One thing I did forget to ask you about, Saunders, is given that you are, in our friendship group, the person who is most likely to send gifts from the office, have you seen the paper yet?
No, but I've been aware of... There's this one friend I met while backpacking a few years ago, so he's sending me memes of all the little Easter egg references to The Office.
Yeah, I've seen the first couple of episodes of it so far, and I mean, the reviews haven't been brilliant, but I've quite enjoyed it. The first episode was very good, I would say. Second episode was alright, but yeah, the first episode was actually very good.
Yeah, the reviews I've heard so far is that it's good. Like it's better than what people were expecting.
Yeah, it's certainly in the world of The Office rather than a full-blown spin-off, I would say. Obviously, there's a character who is in both. There are little Easter eggs, and there are one-sided conversations with people who were from The Office and that sort of stuff. But yeah, as a standalone show, I think it works. It's got that baggage of The Office being associated with it.
Yeah, and it's only season 1. That's the problem with a lot of TV shows nowadays, is that apparently you have to be A+ right from the very beginning, as opposed to 25, 30 years ago, where you were given a bit of time to get your footing with an audience and find your stride with the writing.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain shows that have been just kind of going on fumes for the last 10 years or so, and now casting people from Big Brother. As Bindles and I were discussing before you got here, Amazing Race 38's first few minutes have been released, and they are somehow trying to spin the fact that they're not travelling outside of Europe as a good thing.
As a good thing?
Yeah. Their opening speech where Phil sets up the season is basically, this was created because Elise went around Europe on trains one time. So that's what we're doing this season. And it's like framing it as a positive for somehow.
That's a bit of a stretch in the press release.
Yeah.
I know they have to find a way to promote the season because they need ratings, and without ratings, they don't have a show, unless you're Bo Ryan. But
I'm proud of you for that joke, Saunders.
But to say, oh yeah, we made this season because one of the showrunners rode trains around Europe, and we know that she's probably done that many, many times over the years.
Yeah.
Given that, Bertram's originally from the Netherlands, so we know he goes to Europe very frequently.
How many seconds do you think it is before they show us the Eiffel Tower?
93.
Correct answer is 0.
Oh, really? It's the opening shot?
Yep.
Still standing in front of it, I believe.
He's standing in front of it, but the first leg's in the Netherlands.
Yep.
He stands in Amsterdam as well.
Yeah, like the opening speech, they do that thing they've been doing lately where, like, he does part of it in France, part of it in Holland, part of it in Athens, part of it in Italy or wherever else they go in that season.
Oh, yeah, I forgot Paris is the location.
And I looked at it and I'm like, why don't you try and, like, preserve some of the mystery for later in the season?
Well, as you well know, any season with Big Brother people on it gets horrifically spoiled anyway, whether you want it to or not. So I think probably most people who are going to watch this season, which is not many people, probably already know all the locations already.
Yeah.
It's a far cry from that time that they put the entire season map on the roof of a building at LAX.
What's funny too is that I told you guys about that Chat BCC app. So that one of the questions was, how long have you been watching The Amazing Race? And a lot of people said, I originally watched season 30 and I haven't watched it since. Or I saw 31 and I haven't watched it since. Or another person said, I started watching with Rachel Riley's first season.
I mean, that's acceptable. That's almost first half of Tar now.
Almost.
I will forgive them for starting with season 20.
But like all the people who are responding are all referencing Big Brother seasons.
Yeah, season 30 and 31 is maybe the worst pair of seasons back to back that we've ever had.
14 and 15?
No, I think I hate 30 and 31 more. 30 is certainly a bottom 5 season. 31 is only not a bottom 5 season because of the winners.
I think 30 at least has a decent cast aside from the winners.
Yeah, 30 was deeply unpleasant to recap because we should have done Vidum Georgia instead. And it was also deeply unpleasant during the 9 months before it, having to deal with all the bastard Big Brother fans.
Yeah.
Plus, it was incredibly boring for most of the season.
Yeah, I did laugh seeing, like, the Amazing Race 39 teams have already been worked out. Like, there's no reality TV people on there for the first time in God knows how long. Like, I think they've sort of realised the Big Brother thing is going to lead to driving people away, so they need to go and get normal people again.
I presume that was part of the agreement that Bert and Elise had with CBS was, yes, we'll do a Big Brother season, but you've got to let us not do any reality TV people the next time.
Yeah.
Would they have that much sway?
They could just threaten to end the show.
Yeah, given that as soon as CBS cancels this show, ABC will probably be sniffing around it, given that ABC produce it anyway. I think there's a fair amount of leeway that Bert and Elise probably have.
Yeah. I was thinking too, neither of them have to do that show anymore.
No.
Bertram's in his late 80s, I think, now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
He's the target audience to watch CBS.
Let's see. Let's look up Bertram's age. He old.
Bert's like 130 and they're both rich. They don't need to do this show. They do it because it's fun.
Born in 1940. Oh, okay. Oh, they don't even have his exact birth date. They say he's on his Wikipedia page. He's either 84 or 85.
Shall I see if it's on his Facebook page?
Yeah.
Given that I think he added you as well. He added me randomly. Yeah, I could probably look through Bert's page, but this will be incredibly boring audio, so.
Yeah, you'd have to do a lot of editing. But anyways, so in short, the point is he doesn't have to do the Amazing Race anymore if he doesn't want to. He can retire, so clearly he still enjoys doing the show. He's not doing this for the paycheck.
Yeah.
And I don't think he would enjoy it if CBS were forcing him to cast Big Brother teams every season.
Especially we know his relationship with Cody and Jessica.
Exactly what I mean.
I think it's the only reference I've heard to Bertram getting angry with another contestant.
Oh, Bert absolutely hated him. You could tell. Like, he was not subtle.
The feeling was mutual.
I don't think we haven't got anything about him being angry with fucking Jonathan Baker.
No?
I mean, he probably was.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit less public. Whereas, yeah, Cody was a prick to him publicly, and he was a prick back.
Good for Bertram.
Yeah, I guess, too, if you think of Bertram's personality, too, Cody was also saying some quite offensive things about the local population. Meanwhile, Jonathan was abusive towards his wife.
Yeah. Jonathan was a piece of shit, but at least he was only a piece of shit to his teammate.
But he wasn't a racist.
That's Bert's caveat.
It would be nice if people sort of pointed out the racism on Amazing Race shows a little bit more often.
No, that'll never catch on.
Yeah.
So anyway, previously the Final Eight took a trip on a river which proved wet for them and messy for Martin as he got some heat for making the challenge harder. Bertig and Lisbeth split the group into two, with two of them trapped in a tower and the other six getting a guided tour of Reykjavik from an Icelandic icon. At the execution, Martin's algorithms couldn't help him as he became the third person sent home.
It's just nice that the team finally earned some money last week.
Yeah, it'd be a horrible shame if something were to happen to that money, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I do love that Art's intro speech is basically, nice pot you got here. Shame if anything happened to it. But first, bikes. Because, he knows this is a Dutch show.
Yeah. For the record holders, we absolutely remembered that this challenge was coming this episode, and we absolutely were just constantly dropping references into pot trains and stuff last week.
Yeah, I caught on as soon after Art's intro. I'm thinking, that makes the ending of yesterday's podcast make a lot more sense now.
Yeah. We just weren't being subtle, I'm afraid.
No.
Art says that they're finally getting the hang of it. They earned money in all three challenges last episode, and the pot is at €8,300, which, can I point out, is higher than the previous two normal pots on Vidum. You could think that the mole is asleep, but they know there's a challenge coming which could really harm the pot. First, though, they'll be taking a swim and going for a bike ride around an abandoned factory. And the episode title is Someone Else. And they toast to Martin, and Frits tries to get the conversation towards which TV show the mole thinks that they could win, as that is the question that he and William found out the advanced knowledge of in the dilemma task last week. Everyone answered it, including his mole Lisbeth, and the problem is that Frits made it so obvious what he was trying to do that she worked out what the question would be, and his advantage was essentially moot.
God, they're all so fucking dumb this season.
Yeah. I mean, it does take 4 episodes for them to go, aren't we supposed to be competing here? Maybe we shouldn't share everything about our lives.
Yeah, there's a hilarious conversation they have later on in this episode with the most bizarre reasoning I think I've ever seen for sharing or not sharing information. Apparently it's blame the weather.
Who's frigid, Saunders?
Who's frigid? Who's the sneaky icicle? Imagine if they get another envelope that Frits is privy to, and the question is, what is each contestant's mother's maiden name? And then Frits just goes around blatantly asking people about that. And then the next following week, there's another envelope where he has to ask what elementary school they all went to. And then he has a lot more access than just to €10,800 of the pot.
Yeah, the final week's question is just, what's the long number on your card? And now what's the 3 digits on the back?
Yeah. Avro has to fund this somehow.
So they are taken to an abandoned factory in the middle of nowhere, and one by one, they are taken to a hangar. Each of them has a sign hanging off the hangar. Art meets Frits and Lisbeth with a tandem and tells them the others are in the wrong spot. They must cycle to the bunkers, and each time they reach a bunker, one of them must swap. The last 2 left over will meet Art at a bunker, and if they are all correct, it will earn them money. However, they can only cycle for 10 minutes total.
Did you catch the graffiti and the setup shots for this?
I
Yes.
did, but only because you told me about it beforehand.
Fuck the police.
Not just fuck the police, but fuck the police in a quote bubble said by a giant green cock and balls.
It was like Traitors Ireland with how uncensored it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Still haven't seen anything past episode 9, because I've been busy today. I will tell you as soon as I watch it, Saunders. I'll watch it by next week's episode.
All right, I'll save all my references for episode 5 podcast then.
I watched Crowd Control last night instead, I'm afraid.
God damn it, Harmstone.
I know that this challenge is basically just the Wheel of Belfast challenge again, but I really like it.
Yeah.
This is a fun challenge, and I think it helps that, unlike Wheel of Belfast, they actually work out what they're doing.
Except for William.
And Marrett.
Yeah, apart from William and Marrett, everyone kind of knows what they're doing. And I think it helps. This group, for all their flaws, are fairly competent when they get a challenge like this.
Yeah. I mean, I know it took them forever to earn money, But like those first few challenges this season were utterly impossible. Like they weren't going to win any money at all with the plane wreckage or the glacier. They weren't going to get the smoke signals right. It was basically just because they had to guess whether they wouldn't get it right that they ended up winning. But like the wreckage, the glacier, the stairs, the jeeps, they were basically all impossible challenges. So they're doing relatively well when you can compare it against, what they've had to deal with.
Yeah, and also all of those challenges were all or nothing challenge. I know this is an all or nothing challenge, but this season so far has had a lot of all or nothing challenges.
Yeah, they switched out from the all or nothing challenges, especially in the last episode too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't have Dio.
That is true. That is the biggest advantage of all, is just getting rid of Dio.
Now they just have to deal with William, because William still has terrible strategies and never seems to catch on to anything in challenges.
But he's always right. He backs himself, Saunders, and that is an admirable quality.
Trust yourself, back yourself.
He knows he's right. He doesn't care about other people's opinions. He just knows that his opinion is correct, and that's all that matters.
It's like that character from Family Guy. I don't play by nobody's rules, not even my own.
He has zero self-awareness, but god damn it, he knows his opinions.
And he will die a Washington Nationals fan. The only person in all of Europe who ever wears a Washington Nationals hat.
So Merritt is waiting under a sign saying palindrome, and they figure out that Lisbeth's surname is a palindrome, so she's the one who has to stay. Anna-Marie is waiting next to a sign saying I am, and Frits thinks that it refers to him as Bitch I Amsterdam. That's another Rachel Riley reference. We set ourselves up beautifully. And they also think maybe it could be William, given that, Will I am.
I know that that's how you know this is 2011 when they filmed it, where they said, hey, Will I Am is so popular that maybe that's just what I Am references to.
Marit and Anna-Marie find Art at a bunker with Gulpia, a role that Hardwick played, and look up, which refers to William's next role. And fun fact, Gulpia is also one of Logan's Mucky videos.
I thought that's the first thing you were going to say.
Nope. I considered making your intro and then thought there is a much more fun way to talk about you getting cancelled again.
I like how who is it that finds Art at the finish way too early? Was it Hadwick and William?
It was Marit and Anna-Marie.
Yes, that's where I am in my notes. Yeah, Marit and Anne-Marie just find Art, who is just very casually standing there, as if to say, like, "Hey guys, have you guys clued in? You're at the finish line, and you aren't supposed to be here yet. Or do I have to tell you that?"
I'm just looking it up. Apparently, Frits actually did come up with the I Amsterdam slogan.
That makes sense.
It's on his Dutch Wikipedia page. Hufnagel's most important achievement as alderman was the introduction of the new city marketing strategy under the motto I Amsterdam. Although the population of Amsterdam was not initially very enthusiastic about the campaign, wonder why, it is now considered a success.
Yeah, such a success that the mayor of Amsterdam then got rid of all the signs and just moved one to Schiphol. Schiphol is now the only place where one exists, because people were bitching about them being in Vondelpark, or near the museum, just outside of Vondelpark to be precise. Because Saunders and I went there when it was still there.
Yep. It's one of my first travel pictures.
It was indeed. Marit says she doesn't trust Anna-Marie, so does the exact opposite of what Anna-Marie suggests. However, unfortunately, that means they keep finding all of the empty bunkers. William's waiting with a sign saying, "Oh, sure, that's just great," which refers to Anna-Marie's co-star, apparently.
I thought that quote refers to the next Vidum season when Rowan is brought back, and that's Michael's reaction.
It would be much stronger than that if your Rowan is on Renaissamce. I was saying to Bindles before you got here, with us swapping the recording schedule, assuming that we still stick to one a week now, it does mean we will not overlap with any of Renaissamce airing. We were going to have the finale where we would have overlapped with it, but now we won't.
Damn it, Saunders.
Yeah, it's your fault, so... We could have done the pool draw live, but no.
We can still do it live.
We can't.
No,
we won't be recording it. Moments past.
If it's anything like the first Renaissamce, we won't even know who's on it until it airs.
No, we won't. Which is really, really fun when you try and do a suspect list. Spoilers for my existential dread coming on the 1st of November. Because I'm going to have to keep refreshing the page and find out who's on it, and then set up the suspect list immediately, rather than doing the fun thing of watching the episode and being surprised.
Your existential dread can keep your existential. What am I trying to say?
I'm already enjoying this sentence, I'll be honest.
It is too early in the morning for this. Your existential dread can keep fit and fuck off.
Just for the record, all of that is staying in.
It's too early in the morning for existential dread.
I cut out all of my mistakes, but keep all of yours in for fun.
That's what we usually do with Logan's suspect lists.
That was mean. Not uncalled for, but mean.
And that was rude.
And they're laughing at him.
So as soon as they take off, Marit tells William to ignore any instructions from Anna Marie, so they head back to Fritz's one, which they thought might have been right in the end. They find Tim at a sign saying, "Are you feeling alright again?" which is one of Marit's TV catchphrases. William panics when explaining to Tim what the challenge is, and doesn't explain at all what it actually is, and they swap Marit back out. They find Hardwick at Tim's sign about his trio of two, and head off to find Art and reach him with 43 seconds left. Art tries to fake them out, but they were correct for a total of €2,500 for the challenge, and a new treasure in the form of Marit.
Do they just, genuinely have nothing else interesting about Tim to say, or did we really need another "did you know a trio is only two people" joke?
I think that is all there is to Tim, because he is, as we found out in the last week, way, way less interesting than his comedy partner, Arjen Lubach.
Yeah.
Oh, that's who he's teamed up with.
Yep.
I guess we know who's Batman and who's Robin in that pairing.
Yeah, we sort of didn't mention this on last week's episode, but we are recording this we're recording this a day after Jimmy Kimmel returned to the air, and Arjen Lubach went viral worldwide for his opinions on the Kimmel situation, shall we say.
I guess we know which one of the two of them is the Kimmel and which one is the Guillermo.
Oh, and speaking of William being stupid, in this challenge,
is William your new Dio?
They were been an idiotic pairing right from episode 1 with the whole Hunger Games over dramatic scene, because William doesn't understand this challenge to the point that he tries to talk really, really fast to say who needs to swap there. And Frits interrupts him multiple times and says, "William, it doesn't matter how fast or how slow we get through this conversation. That has zero impact on the timer. The only thing that deducts time from this challenge is how long we're on the tandem bicycle." And it doesn't compute in William's brain whatsoever. He still talks at 100 kilometers an hour, thinking they have to just get on the bike right away.
My favourite thing of that entire bit is the fact that as soon as they leave Fritz behind, him and Tim get on the bike, and Tim doesn't need to pedal because William is going at warp speed.
Imagine how quickly they would have won this challenge if Marit and Anna Marie basically hadn't spent 5 minutes cycling to the middle of nowhere.
If they hadn't found an Albanian bunker instead of an Icelandic bunker.
Mm.
And imagine if the Mexico 2 cast had to do this challenge. They would have needed about 30 minutes on the tandem bicycle.
No, they wouldn't. They would have been sitting down.
Yeah, but they would still have to move their feet, though, in a circular motion.
Oh, I would have given money to see Rhiannon Euro do this challenge.
Just swap the bicycle for a wheelchair, and maybe they stand a bit of a chance.
And just every time they're pedaling, in all of the bunkers, you just hear Reykjavik.
So on the bus to the second challenge, it then all just kind of breaks apart when nobody wants to share information with each other anymore because the girls have a pact.
And then Frits gets all pissed off about it.
He's seen this show before, right?
Yeah. What? You mean we're not going to openly look at each other's journals anymore and all of us pool our information together?
I mean, the fact that they did 3.5 episodes of sharing everything with each other is insane on a mole season anyway.
Yeah, as soon as they're wearing each other's underwear, that's where they cross the line on sharing everything this season.
I mean, I know they have nothing else to do in Iceland, but also they have nothing else to do in any of the other seasons either, and they still manage to find ways around it.
Makes me think that the there's a higher probability of the mole being a woman, given that they said Frits claimed it was the women that wanted to stop sharing all the information in the journals, because if you're the mole, you probably don't want everybody pooling all of their information together.
Interesting thought.
It's like you guys know the outcome to this season.
It is.
Would be a shame if anything happened to it.
Yeah. We're also being really, really careful not to spoil anything. Because the last challenge of this episode has a pretty big sabotage in it.
And William does something else really. Oh yeah, when he was talking about Iceland, he said, "Yeah, Iceland has disadvantages mainly because of the ice in Iceland." And aside from political joke that just came to my mind, I don't think he realizes that Greenland is ice and then Iceland is green. He still hasn't learned that.
It's cold in Greenland. It's warm in Iceland.
And for some reason, the reason why they were all sharing information together is because it was cold and miserable in Iceland, and they all had to acclimate to the weather, was their reasoning. So apparently, if you do a Venom season with poor weather, you all have to share information until you all can adjust to it.
Yeah, in their defense, it did look pretty miserable.
Oh yeah, it was super windy.
I mean, so did South Africa too, and they managed to fuck.
Yeah, at least South Africa too had decent weather-ish. It certainly wasn't nearly as horrid as the wind looks in Iceland.
Yeah, was it Iceland, Canada, and
Northern
Scotland
Ireland.
Seasons have the worst weather? Yeah, Northern Ireland.
Yeah, Northern Ireland was pretty bleak for like half of the season.
They could have just been because it's Northern Ireland. Love you, Alex.
So Art meets them at the edge of the European continent where the tectonic plate meets the American one. He's looking for 6 people who want to put something on to stave off the cold, and Marit is the one that is left over. The other 6 will be snorkeling in pairs through the tectonic plate divide, looking for 7 pitches, and must remember the order. They have 15 minutes to complete their swim, as there is a high risk of hypothermia.
Masonry's 34 pretty much copied this challenge, and also this challenge, what was it? The Australia-Bali season had a challenge very similar to this too, or was it El Salvador, Nicaragua?
El Salvador, Nicaragua didn't have any snorkeling, I don't think, because it was far too rainy.
No, I mean in terms of like memorize the pictures that appear in a specific order.
Oh, yeah.
Of like family members. I thought they did that in Australia-Bali season.
I think that was Argentina.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think we've covered a challenge like this before.
I mean, the challenge they're doing here is basically copied from the junior version.
Again, though, this is a really fucking cool challenge and a really fucking cool location.
Yeah, no objections to this challenge whatsoever.
No. The problem is we rewatch this episode knowing what happens at the end of this episode, and the fact that everything we've talked about so far is essentially pointless.
Yeah.
So all the pictures are of their parents, and they realise that they must memorise the contestants whose parents they are. Once they complete the swim, Marit can listen in secretly to their discussions and try and work out an order based off of it. Each pair gets 2 numbers off Art's place, and Anne-Marie and Hardwick place numbers 3 and 7. Tim and Lisbeth are the second pair, and we get it confirmed that the water temperature is 2 degrees Celsius. They get separated due to foggy goggles and a fast current, and Tim ends up saving her life. It was a very heroic deed.
I know it's rude to make jokes about people who aren't even contestants on this show, but God, Fritz's mother looks miserable. Could you think that she had to live with Frits?
Yeah, she looks like Frits in a dress, remember?
I like how they all instantly picked out William's mother.
Yeah, because she looked like William in a wig.
She looked more like William than the actual photo of William they used at the end.
Yeah, I wanted to just let you talk about those pictures at the end.
So I went and got a decent quality version of the board at the end to try and work out which order they were in. And you get, the 5 of them, the first 5. And because they've done it in like that weird sort of like washed out sort of grayscale outliney thing, like the Take On Me video. Like the photos look nothing like any of the people. So like I sent Michael a note. Yes, the famous Vias de Mall cast, 1980s Eureka Johnson, Sam Campbell, Martina Navratilova with anaphylaxis, Angela Grotehausen in a wig, and Bertram Van Munster, but even older.
Bert's getting a lot of mentions this episode.
I wish Taeke was on the season doing this challenge, because it would have just been a photo of Captain Caveman underwater.
Also, there is no way that Taeke would have been able to swim and breathe at the same time.
I keep swallowing water, guys.
He could barely walk and breathe at the same time. There's no way that he could also swim and breathe.
How do people chew gum and walk at the same time? It takes me forever to get anywhere.
I had forgotten how much I love taking the piss out of Taeke Takema.
I think you mean Taeke Takema.
Taeke Takema.
Oh god, imagine Taeke in the final challenge.
Exactly, this is what I mean. Like, we were robbed of more Taeke.
All right, Taeke, it's up to you to put an end to the Cold War. Why don't they just put on a jacket?
I would have just loved it if every single negotiation that involved Taeke was just the other person on the other side of the table going, green is good, red is bad. Green, good, red, bad.
God. They should just make Taeke the new host when Rick finally goes.
Yeah. I mean, for all my jokes about Taeke during the entirety of Dominican Republic, I have a huge soft spot for him. He seemed like he was loving every second of being on Venom. I always have a soft spot for people who look like they're enjoying themselves. And unfortunately, in the case of Saunders, it's usually when he's looking at a horse.
No, that's a huge hard spot.
Not Horace, horse.
Mm.
Horse Cohen, birthplace, New York Netherlands, USA, etc. So the final pair are Frits and William was glad because he wanted to see what Frits was up to. And there is a photo near the end that Frits doesn't spot. And they place photos number 1 and 5. Merritt then joins the group, and they don't even give Frits and William time to change out of their wetsuits, which makes me laugh in the group shot. And Art reveals the real challenge to them, that Merritt must place the photos in the correct place, and everything must be right to earn €2,000. However, in Art's opinion, they messed up big time, i.e. they got 4 out of 7 correct, and earn nothing of €2,000 for the pot.
I love that they try to be, but we got half of them right, and Art gets to be, well, you're easily impressed, like they're fans of Amazing Race Australia.
My favourite thing about making Amazing Race Australia jokes is there is a good chance that by the time this episode comes out, Amazing Race Australia might have been cancelled.
Yay!
Oh, really?
Well, given the fact that they had an episode this week where not one but 2 medevacs happened. Well, technically 1 medevac, 1 quit, when it was supposed to be a non-elimination leg, and as a result, they're almost certainly going to have entire weeks when nobody goes home now.
Didn't they have another team get medevaced the following episode?
So it was a keep on racing leg. They had one team die of heat exhaustion, and it turns out that the person who got heat exhausted now has seizures constantly.
What?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the other one, the team placed second and then quit almost immediately because one of them wasn't feeling very well.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that she had to go straight to hospital for about 6 weeks when she got home.
Oh,
But it's bad to call production negligent.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the argument that was happening on Tar Hub.
Yeah. So they are now down from 8 teams that were meant to be in the next leg to 6. And as a result, they still have, 8 episodes left, I think it is. So have 3 more eliminations to do in 7 episodes.
And the funny thing is, 2 of the teams aren't even spoiled after the country they're in now, which basically means the last 6 episodes it looks like it's going to be non-elimination, non-elimination, final 4 elimination, non-elimination, non-elimination finale. So basically 1 elimination in 6 episodes.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the what. Yeah, I saw the clip appear on my feed of the mother-daughter. That was the heat stroke team, right?
Yeah, that was the heat stroke team.
And then I saw the guy who was racing solo decide to quit. I'm amazed production even let him race solo. I know it's happened before, but that was like in the Chinese celebrity version where they don't really, where it's more of just having a TV show with celebrities rather than doing Amazing Race.
I mean, I realize it's hard to tell from the quality of the casting, but allegedly this is a celebrity version as well.
Yeah, and also the thing with the Chinese celebrity one is the reason that that person was racing solo is because the other one couldn't get a visa in time.
Yeah. Which also happened in Australia, where one person got kicked off a flight and they temporarily made someone race solo. But this was different, that somebody got medically evacuated and let the other person race solo. And they gave him the opportunity if he wanted to keep racing solo or not. That would have been so Amazing Race Australia if somebody won the season alone. It's like they had three teams conspire to break all of the tiebreaker rules or violate the tiebreaker rules and let them all win together. And then production was prepared to have a guy do the entire, I don't know what that be, like the last 2/3 of the season just by himself if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know that the daughter is having seizures now frequently.
Yeah, the daughter's had 5-6 seizures since she got home, and they finished filming this in April.
Oh God, so that's. Do you think there's a non-zero chance of a lawsuit happening there?
You'd hope so.
I know they signed a stack of waivers, but it sounds like a lot of negligence there. And then what was the thing with the other? The other person was hospitalized for a lengthy period of time.
Yeah, about 6 weeks apparently.
Yeah, but that was basically just she had COVID.
Yeah.
Had COVID, and then because she was, overdoing it on the race, made things worse.
So how many teams did they lose for so far for reasons other than being last to a pit stop?
3?
3, maybe 4, because I think one of them quit a task or something.
Yes, that does sound right. I think 2 teams got eliminated over quitting tasks so far. Because I thought I saw one 10-minute penalty and one 20-minute penalty.
Yeah, Ed and Tiff originally arrived 11th but received a 20-minute penalty because he quit the detour. Then there was the off-camera breach of the show's code of conduct by Dan Middleton, so they got disqualified. Then Dom and Marks got a 30-minute penalty because they quit their detour and got eliminated as a result of it. Lindy and Stella were removed from the competition because of the heat exhaustion, and then Brendan and Laney elected to withdraw due to the fact that Laney was ill.
Yeah, so basically 5 out of 7 so far have been they didn't come last, and one of the other 2 was also injured when they got to the pit stop. So
yeah, she had a leg injury, I believe.
Yeah, so even if that wasn't an elimination, she probably would have been forced to quit the next episode anyway.
If I was the network, after hearing all this, I would not be renewing it for another season.
But this is 10 and they don't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Vidham. Marek fucks up, essentially.
Yeah, I have to note, Marek thinks the boys fucked up on purpose to make her look bad. She's doing a decent job of that on her own, though.
And I was wrong about the discussion about sharing information because that is actually after this challenge. It wasn't after the first one. The first one was just Iceland's cold and miserable. The second one was, yeah, it's cold and miserable, and also we're not going to share anything with each other anymore.
What would have been if Merritt had just done a 180-degree turn, she would have seen Lisbeth and Anna Marie very visibly cringe at her switching out some of the answers. That would have been a pretty big giveaway.
I presume the other 6 were told not to give away anything.
But they really could not help themselves here. Oh no, I'm just passing I'm just passing a kidney stone, don't mind me.
So the next morning, Art meets them at the docks of Reykjavik and asks how much money they have in the pot at the moment. And they say 10,800 euros. He says basically, be ashamed if something were to happen to it. Oh, and also, test and execution, have fun. It's time for the test and execution. 20 questions about the identity and actions of the mole. Whoever knows least goes home except for the mole, who can never go home. And at least one person still get a yoker because Frits didn't play his last time. William's suspicions have stayed the same, apart from Frits and Anna Marie, who have swapped. Anna Marie has been more fanatic, but Frits is just a strange human being. Tim says he hasn't had time to study yet, so he doesn't know how to answer half the questions and guesses them as a result. Hardwick says that it's dangerous to go all in, but she's got strong suspicions now. Either that or she's being very misled.
It's dangerous to go all in. Here, take this.
Legend of Zelda.
Lisbeth says the mole rode the tandem once. She thought she knew everyone well, but having been around Frits a lot, he didn't do anything suspicious, so she doesn't suspect him anymore. Fritz's moles haven't changed, and that's why he hasn't played his yoker yet. Either he's out of the game and his yoker's useless, or he stays and it gets more useful. Anna-Marie put a lot on Tim, but realised that she was too focused, so went on Lisbeth too. She says that Lisbeth is a candidate acting like a mole, and Tim is a mole acting like a candidate. And Marit says that it might be tunnel vision, but she thinks she's on the right track. Art then tells them that there are only 6 candidates left and 1 mole. They're in Reykjavik's harbour, where whale hunters operate, and where mole hunters do for the day. Hardwick, Tim, Anna-Marie, Frits, and Lisbeth all get green screens, leaving just William and Marit in danger. He then ratchets up the tension by telling them that in 1986, tough negotiations happened in Reykjavik between the leaders of America and Russia at the time. If Reagan and Gorbachev managed to succeed and come to an agreement to end the Cold War, surely they can too. And as a result, the other 5 will determine William and Marit's fate at the same location where the Cold War ended 25 years ago, the Hofdi House.
Were all of the parents' photos from 1986?
Well, Fritz's mum wasn't. I suspect that was probably during the war, which would explain why she looks so miserable.
Yeah, Frits was like late 40s, I think, when he filmed this season, maybe slightly older than that. So in pairs, they will discuss whether or not to stop the execution unanimously. If they succeed, they will earn €3,000. If they vote unanimously to continue the execution, they'll lose 3,000. If they vote non-unanimously to continue the execution, they'll earn and lose nothing, apart from one of William and Marit's. But if they vote non-unanimously to cancel the execution, the pot will be drained, and everything they've done in Iceland will have been for nothing.
It's just so nice of Gorbachev to send them Pizza Hut while they negotiate.
It is the official sponsor of the Cold War.
Yeah.
Well, McDonald's wasn't an option.
Apparently that burger is still there.
Yeah, I just saw that. I saw it was either on Instagram or Reddit where they were showing a picture of it.
Did you go to the Hofdi House by any chance, Saunders?
No, I did not.
It seems like the sort of place you would have ended up going to.
Yeah, I this is the first time I ever heard about it, was in Vidum, so...
Get back on the plane.
Yeah, well, I want to go back to Iceland next year. I really enjoyed my time in Iceland.
We'll put the Hofdi House on your list.
I will. I probably will.
Did you know apparently like the top part of Iceland is warmer than the bottom part?
Really?
Yeah, because there's no wind. Because
yeah,
it's all protected from the cliffs and everything. There's no wind, so basically like the north coast of Iceland is the hottest part of the country.
All right.
I didn't know that either. I'm learning all sorts of things.
See, this is an educational podcast. This should be on American Airlines. Call us American Airlines. We're very, very reasonable.
We will make 20% fewer horse jokes.
10. That's the negotiation we're doing at Hofdi House.
13.
12.
11.69.
Deal. How would you have played this challenge?
I think you have to be under the assumption the mole is in your group, and right from the beginning, don't change your mind halfway through. Right at the beginning, you have to say, all of us need to vote to continue with the execution.
Yeah.
It's just the indecisiveness that occurred where they all tried to make a U-turn halfway into this challenge. So only half the people knew to vote to continue the exemption. The other half continued to stop it. The mole is given a lot of power in this challenge if you all can't come to an agreement right from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Question for you, Saunders. How do you think the mole sabotaged this challenge?
If at all. Well, I think that midway point where they were all changing their mind, all that has to happen, because they were only there in duos. So all that has to happen is for the mole to not relay the idea that they've all changed their mind, that they're switching to continue on with the execution. Because then whoever they're talking to at the end will also will maintain their vote of stopping the execution. So that's the way to get the 3 out of 5 votes to stop the execution and get all of that money out of the pot. However, I do think it would be a bit lousy for production to put the mole in that group. And I wish the mole was put in one of the 2 spots and had nothing to do with the challenge and not be a part of that decision. Because it would be just too, I think it was just too easy for the mole to, because now all the other 4 people have to make sure that 3 out of the 4 of them vote to continue the execution. So the odds were really stacked against them if the mole was amongst the 5, especially with them only being there in duos.
I know people will expect me to rail against this pot drain, because obviously it does end up in a pot drain. I like this challenge a lot, because if the mole is in that group of 5, it's a thoroughly avoidable pot drain.
Yeah.
It's hard, but it is possible to circumvent
Yeah.
the mole in this challenge and stop them draining the pot. If
Yeah.
they play into the mole's hands, however, then it happens.
Yeah, like the €3,000 prize is basically impossible. Like
Yeah.
either the mole's in the group and they're going to vote against it, or somebody in the group will want to look like the mole and vote against it. I think that's impossible. I think maybe the unanimous elimination is impossible because somebody will want to avoid the bad PR damage that voting for an elimination will cause. I think this works better because it's a celebrity cast than if they'd done this with civilians. So I think you're not going to win the 3,000. You're not going to lose the 3,000. I think aiming for the best of the bad options is on theme with the negotiations, the end of Cold War, and all that sort of stuff. But also, I think that's the option you try and aim for, which I don't think is that difficult, really. I think maybe if they'd gone around, and negotiated with everybody instead of each person only getting to talk to 2 of the other 4 people, I think they probably would have gotten there in the end.
You know who I would have loved to see do this challenge? Olche Gulson. Can you imagine her just being like, no, we're earning money, fuck the rest of you, we're going to earn all the money, I don't give a shit, no non-eliminations.
Olche Gulson and Taeke Takuma.
Well, Taeke would have done whatever Olche wanted him to, let's be honest. So would most people put up against Olche, I think, in this challenge.
Yeah.
You just say yes to it to sort of stop her bothering you about it.
I was surprised how long it took for them to realize that by trying to aim for a unanimous vote to stop the execution, that they were giving the mole a lot of power to guarantee that it was going to go down to €0. It took them way too long to figure that out, saying, wait a second, all it takes is a 4-1 vote, and we're voting anonymously.
I think that it might not have been a bad idea to just go, yeah, we're going to go for the non-elimination. Because if everyone sticks to that and the mole is on that side, you're forcing the mole to show their hand. Yes, you're gambling the pot on the mole not falling in line. But if it ends up being a 4-1 vote with 4 green, 1 red, you can kind of guarantee that the mole is in that group. And the mole probably wouldn't want to expose themselves and narrow down the options.
That's true.
So I think you call the mole's bluff on that challenge. I think you probably go, yeah, I'm going to vote green. If it ends up as a 4-1 vote, then we rule 2 people out.
Yeah. I think the other thing is, basically it's a 1 in 6 shot that the mole isn't in the negotiators because, whoever would have gone home is in the bottom 2, no matter what, whether there's an elimination or not. So really there's only one person in there who could be the mole, whether it's William or Marat. And I don't know whether we ever find out whether that person was second bottom on the test, whether they just picked the person they thought would be, put the most doubt in people's minds, whether the mole got to decide who went where, like Elizabeth putting herself on the boat that time. I don't know how they decided that second person. And I think that would be an interesting way for the mole to affect the challenge.
Or if it was whoever is the person who's going to go home, and then maybe the other player was the most suspected person on the quiz, so that the other 5 doubt whether or not the mole is in their own group of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something more to this challenge. I don't think we ever actually find out what it is.
Yeah.
But I think it's a really fascinating challenge. And obviously, it's one of those challenges you can't really do anywhere else. It's very thematically appropriate.
Yeah.
I wish they would see them test out the chairs of Gorbachev and Reagan and be like, this doesn't offer enough support.
I also think that this challenge would not have worked nearly as well as it did if we didn't have political nerd Frits there.
Yeah.
Because Frits was very excited.
Yeah. And, if Frits wasn't there, this would have just been, basically another empty warehouse challenge like this show loves to do.
Yeah. Whereas it kind of all came together in a very serendipitous way for them, in that they still had Frits there. They had a great location to do it at, and the challenge really kind of fit the location very well and fit what they wanted to do.
I like the random close-ups on their eyes and lips all throughout the challenge too, especially when it was Anna Marie and Tim.
Well, they both suspect each other at this point. Tim has not been subtle that he suspects Anna Marie, and Anna Marie has not been subtle that she suspects Tim.
Which is why they both were suspicious of how the other was voting in this challenge.
So they cast their votes, and obviously we don't actually see what anyone votes. But Frits says he voted red for the only time in his life. The votes are then revealed, and by a 3-2 vote, Green wins, saving Marisol William, but dropping the pot back to 0 for a total of minus 10,800 of 3,000 for the challenge, minus 8,300 of 7,500 for the episode, and 0 of 35,000 for the season so far.
I guess Lisbeth will have to return her birthday gifts.
And Frits says he thought that they had misled them all, but he was wrong, and now they have to rebuild from 0.
Now Art will have to ride by on his bicycle and just keep throwing money at them any chance he gets. It'll be funny to see how much they try to tilt the table to just throw a ridiculous amount of cash in the remaining 5 episodes or so.
Yeah. Do you think the mole intended for there to be a pot drain here?
I think so. That's their goal. Well, goal is to not exactly that, but do you think they would want to go for it here? It would be a source of pride too if they can get away with it. It would be like the Belgian mole sabotage during the Germany season.
Yeah.
I've said it numerous times at this point on the podcast, but the mole's goal is not to make the pot 0. The mole's goal is to keep money out of the pot. I think the mole's preferred option here is probably the minus 3,000. Maybe they thought, yeah, it's going to go as a pot drain, and that kind of works for me. I'm not going to stop it. But I don't think the mole intended on it being a full pot drain. I think the mole probably just intended on money coming out of the pot. Because it's not a fun situation for anyone, and especially in this case where half the season has gone by, or the first location of the season has gone by, and it's just like, yeah, all of that was entirely pointless.
Yeah. And, it's not like it was, a particularly nice location either. Like, it would have been one thing if, like, say, El Salvador, Nicaragua, they had 4 really nice episodes in El Salvador and then done this. But, like, they were in the middle of nowhere, enduring shitty conditions in Iceland for nothing.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not sure it's a great situation for the mole to be in, and I'm not sure it's a great look for the show generally.
Yeah.
I think it's the fact that they went all the way down to 0 after 4 episodes. It should have been more of like in Belgium when they did that challenge in Germany, they still had money left in the pot afterwards.
Yeah. They could have done, say, you gain 5,000 euros, you lose 5,000 euros, or we reset the pot to 5,000 euros. Like, that would have been fine.
Yeah, I think the one slight positive is that it's only halfway through the season that the pot drains happened. It's not like 7 or 8 episodes in like Cambodia was.
Yeah. And I don't think it's giving too much away to reveal that they don't get up to 20,000 euros this season.
No. They don't do badly, certainly by modern standards, but they don't get anywhere near the lofty heights that you'd maybe think they were on track for, given that after the first challenge of this episode, they were on 10,800 euros. So, next time it's time to fly. There are more challenges to irritate people on the flight to Spain. There's a laser game, and someone finally gets a red screen.
So what you're saying is the plane to Spain causes even more pain?
Yeah. 4 questions to end the episode for you, Saunders. Who do you suspect? Who's going home? Who's the sneaky Tasmanian? Who do you think should have gone home this episode?
So, who I think should have gone home? William. Who I think will go home next episode? William. And sneaky Tasmanian, I will switch to Lisbeth as my guest this week. I think she's the sneaky Tasmanian.
Are you still continuing your quest to name everyone as the sneaky Tasmanian so you get it right in the end, or?
Anything that improves my performance from last season.
I mean, it can't be much worse.
So, for my suspect list, I have Anna Marie first, Lisbeth second, Merritt third, Frits fourth, Tim fifth, Hadwick 6th, and William 7th.
Care to elaborate?
Care to elaborate? So I shuffled Merit down because just she was put in 2 positions this episode that really made her stick out, with being the lone person for the underwater snorkeling challenge. I feel like that'd be too much under the spotlight. In addition to her likely, if she was the mole, to already knowing she'd be in the group of 2 for the execution and not be part of the negotiation part of the challenge. So I think that would just be too much focus. So that's why I'm sliding her down the suspect list, and there were confessionals of people suspecting her. Anna Marie, I now bumped up to number 1 because I feel like she has been a part of a lot of failures throughout the course of the season, and just no one is really that focused in on her other than Tim. And Elizabeth, she's always been really suspicious to me, and the fact that she got to be part of the negotiation, and she just never performs that well in challenges. And I just think William is an idiot, and that's why I always have him at the bottom of my suspect list.
I am enjoying this new blunter Saunders.
Yeah.
Go back a couple of years, you would have never called people idiots on this show.
Well, I know, because it's been so long that we know no one is really listening to us, so I'm not all 20 people, so I'm not overly concerned.
Yeah, that's why I can say I am also enjoying the concept of William at the bottom.
And just Frits, there is so much focus on Frits that's why he's always hovering around the middle of my suspect list. Tim has always been perceived as really fanatical, which, I mean, other moles have been perceived as fanatical too, but just too much is revolving around him in terms of dictating the strategies. And it just seems weird for the mole to have an open strategy of, I'm going to align with all the dudes and all the women separately. Look at me. I feel like that would just be a bit off behavior for the mole to plan specifically. And Hadwick, I'm going to look at Hadwick more. I'm going to go through all my notes. She may shuffle up quite high in my suspect list sooner rather than later.
Interesting.
Okay. I just thought we'd not had much elaboration from you on that topic.
Yeah, I realized I was thinking that too going into this podcast, that we were just so focused on making fun of Dio and William for the first 3 episodes.
You say you were.
I feel like it was a team effort, especially with Dio.
We share all of our notes, Michael. Didn't you get the memo?
No, I've stopped sharing with you years ago.
Rude.
It's reached that point in the podcast, I'm afraid.
Is it because the weather's getting warmer, or we're getting used to it?
It fucking isn't here. I'm sat here in my my Belgian mole sweater because it's fucking freezing.
No.
Meanwhile, here it's like 25 degrees here, I think.
Yeah, it's not here. It's warmer than it has been the past few days, but it went down to about 1 degree at the weekend. Anyway, back to this.
Yeah, I think that was all. I think I answered all 4 questions.
Cool. And just for funsies, given that we're almost halfway through the season, who do you think's winning, Saunders?
Who do I think will win? Oh, does this mean William wins because you asked that question specifically?
No, I'm just asking it so that we can come back to this in 5 weeks' time and go, you were wrong, probably.
Well, yeah, it's a 1 in 7 chance that I'm right.
Well, 1 in 6 chance because one of them's the mole.
Yeah, that's kind of how this show works. Is one person is the mole, Saunders. I'm not sure if you're aware, given your performance last time we did Historians, but one person is the mole.
If it was a 1 in 7 chance, you could vote for Art, which Dio probably did.
See what I mean? It's been a team effort on Dio. Oh, who's gonna win? Is it really gonna be Frits? Or is it someone? Maybe Merit. Maybe Merit's gonna win.
Okay.
Interesting.
But they were also teasing about Tim and Marie. Or Tim. Could Tim win? Maybe Tim win. No, let's go Merit for now. Let's say Merit wins.
Okay.
That's been noted.
Anything else you want to say about this episode?
She's probably the mole. No. I think I'm good. They could do this challenge again soon, I think, the Cold War one. Maybe for 2028. Resolve Cold War 2.
I'm quite enjoying how loose these podcasts have been this season so far as well.
Yeah. I feel like we're having more fun with this season than we did with Northern Ireland and Jordan.
Yeah, because although Iceland does feel like a miserable location, these people are just way more fun to take the piss out of.
Yeah.
So, thank you for listening to our VSML 2012 recap. We'll be back next week to continue the hunt for the newest mole in Iceland and Spain. Don't forget you can contact us on pretty much every social media platform that isn't TikTok, where we are RTV Warriors. I can email us and contact at rtvwarriors.com. You can also support us on Patreon at patreon.com/rtvwarriors and get early access to the rest of the episodes of this season. Thank you, as always, to Marika for not doing the subtitles this season because it was that dark spark. But, we like you, Marika, so we'll give you credit anyway. We will see you next week.
Peace out and just chill till the next flavoring.
I can words competence.